Thank you. Good evening. Here in our country is 5 p.m. This is Melaku. I am the project manager in one of international NGO called FCD Ethiopia. Until 10 months back, I used to be CEO of Hibret Bank. I'm a banker. I worked in a banking environment for 20 years. So the title given is quite interesting, and in fact, it is helpful for us, especially for those who have industry experiences. It's exploring the intersection of HRM, leadership, and psychology in organizational success. The learning outcome and objective is the one stated in our assignment. The first one is to see the research trends on interlink between HR, leadership, and psychology, and applying the psychology principles to leadership and management. Also to see the case studies on these integrations or synergy that we have seen. And the final one is a strategy, a synthesized strategy for motivation, resilience, and performance. As introduction, in order to understand the interconnection of these three variables, it's good to dissect the three components that we are talking. The first one is HR. So we will see this one from the human capital strategy perspective from document panels. And we will see also leadership evolving from its styles and effectiveness. And the third one is psychology. So we will see this one also, the details on the behavioral, cognition, and motivations of a human being. Especially, we might highlight the well-known Maslow and Bandura theories. And subsequently, we will see the EBM, more evidence-based management, which is it's a state-of-the-art management that's coming, that shows the topic being discussed here. And finally, we will see the convergence or interlink of these three variables. In regard to the human resource management, the basic pillar, as you know, on HRM is people management or staff management, where we have a number of processes or workflows that needs to be managed in any of the organizations. And one of it is just the daunting task that we have in any organizations is strategic recruitment and workforce planning. And also we are monitoring the performance as well as the goal alignment of staffs or people. In capability building or enhancement of staff. And along with the performance, there has to be a compensation framework. All these are encapsulated in the HRM strategies. And the last one is digitalization and global workforce adaptability in the people or the workforce that we are managing. The second variable that we are looking for today is leaderships, and it's good to see from these basic theories that we are learning also in UB Global. Most of the materials that I have referred is the reading materials which have been suggested in our courses in our Doc 1.1. The first one is leadership is, especially in the beginning of 1900, it was taken as individual or the charismatic nature of an individual lies on the leadership, and basically it lies on the principle of leadership is primarily inherited or it's a born theory. So this is based on the innate qualities of the individual which are involved on leadership. The second theory that comes later on, I think in 1940s and later on, is behavioral part and contingency theories, where it both talking about that leadership is contextual, and it is done by the leaders based on the behavior of the one type of leadership that can apply to all. So it is situations. The third was motivate and elevate subordinates or followers. So this is, I think, the one which we are talking later on, especially when we talk about leadership in interlink with HRM and psychology. And the last one is transactional leadership, which is highly structured, which defined roles, and which has a stick and carrot principle, reward and punishment. So it's focusing on the KPI stated and whether that have been done or not. For that, there is a reward and punishment attachment. So in general, leadership is focusing on motivation, trust, and organizational change. So from these theories that we are talking, the transformational leadership highly focuses on such behavior. So when you talk about transformational leadership type, the third variable, which we are exploring in psychology, which is affecting in HRM strategy also. So for this, it's good to see the historical and well-known model, the Maslow model. As you know, the Maslow model, it goes all the way from physiological all the way to self-actualization. And mostly it explores what motivates on the behavioral change of individuals, especially if you see the physiologically, the motivating factor is food, water, shelter, warmth, and so on. So when we go on the pyramid, the motivational factor is various. So this is quite worthy to know, especially to map with the leadership. The Bandura component is rather focusing on cognitive processes, which involves motivation. Especially it focuses on environmental, personal, and behavioral elements. These two theory, I took it as a good start to explore and to link up psychology with HRM and leadership. And the third theory on psychology is the equity theory, which focuses on 5 elements where we have input, what an employee is delivering, output, what an employee is getting as a reward. The third component, comparison, what an employee is comparing his or her reward to the other person. And the fourth one is perception of equity, where an individual having a wrong perception, either under or over on a rewarding scheme. The fifth one is restoring equity. Whenever an individual or employee feels that there is no equity, they will think of reducing the effort made at the input side on number one, or they look on the output side, what reward did I get, and so on. These are the 5 parameters which is talking about equity theory. So the reason that I mention all those theories are it's good to know the basic components or historical journey of the psychology concepts to map out with HRM and leadership. So psychology in general, as you see all those theories, it directly applies in HR predominantly on recruitment, development, appraisal, and retention. For the one that we are looking is EBM or evidence-based management, where it is focusing basically on making a decision based on evidence, experts, or experiences that we have, stakeholder value, and organizational data. So based on that, we do have 4 sources of evidence or core components. One is scientific evidence, which is mainly based on researches or industry data that we are working. So while making a decision, we use also those evidences emanated from scientific researches. And the second one is the individual or practitioner experience that we have. It covers all the explicit knowledge, implicit knowledge, and even tacit knowledge where we cannot code it. All these are built in inside within the practitioners. And the third one is the stakeholder input, where it gives values and concerns that are affecting those parties or stakeholders. These are also the evidence or the source of evidences for EVM. And the fourth one, as it is stated in the definition also, organizational texts. What are the factors, theories, procedures, policies, and so on are there in the organization to pass proper and timely decisions. This is a very interesting concept or theory that is being exercised, and the application of EVM on decision making. I am using one example that I got from AU Global class. Especially, I am very much impressed on this quote that has been said by Mr. Chesley Burnett. It says, "For 42 years, I have been making small, regular deposits in this bank of experience, education, and training. And on January 15th, the balance was sufficient so that I could make a very large withdrawal." The reason I am interested with this quote is since also, it is very close to me the way Burnett is a very brave man. On I think January 15, 2009, he was able to land the airplane on the water, and he has saved 155 people. And the way all the decision process that he made is use his scientific findings. Mr. Burnett was working in NASA and other institutes, and he's good enough on scientific research findings and so on, so that accumulated knowledge has helped him. And he used strictly the organizational reports, facts, and so on. He has reviewed in his experience. These are those findings that have been collected from the interview with Burnett. And this has helped him also to pass this decision. And the third one is his expertise. He has a good experience in the aviation sector and reach on that. So that component has helped him to do this task. And the fourth one is ethics and the responsibilities that he has taken for the passengers. He has made check until all the passengers left the airplane. And in fact, he was the last person who existed and so on. So all those 4 components are vividly seen in what Burnett did on January 15th, 2009. I found it quite interesting, taking it as an example for ABM. So we are now coming to the integration of these 3 variables: HRM, psychology, and leadership. So convergence drives strategic alignment and performance. So HRM, it gives a powerful.
Melaku, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you? Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We have to take care of time because we have 2 more presenters. So yeah, so would you mind getting a little bit quicker and faster?
How many? Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you. The second component is psychology. Uh, it is principal helps for personalization and humanize HR strategy. And the third one is leadership behavior that influences motivation and engagement. So all these three improves innovation, engagement, retention, and the resilience and outcomes of an employee in an organization. So the casing example that I took is two companies, Google and Microsoft. Google, in terms of HRM, leadership, and psychology, they do have their own approach, and the impact that they got is a team effect. So leadership psychology that they have used, or psychology they use emotional intelligence, and they build a good employment engagements and innovations. So we can see in these two companies the integration of these three variables. For the future, integrating psychology theories into HR and design is very important. Develop adaptive leadership, which has iteration and which is a learning leadership that we have to see team maturity. And culture has to be reinforced for value-based management and ensure fairness, support, and growth to retain talents. As a conclusion, HR and leadership and psychology are interlinked and both are overlapped, and the hotspot or the integration is as the middle, and one who integrate these three and use it effectively and efficiently in efficient on EBM, evidence-based management, and context-sensitive strategies. In order to refer all those things, various small articles and so on, I have referred. And thank you for your listening and happy learning.